Alright, so this is going to be a response to the Mount Vernon Kid's newest new video about what villains he wanted to see in Young Justice, you know, the Young Justice animated cartoon. And here's my list of villains I want to see. Starting off with the White Martians. Yes, I'd really like to see the White Martians make an appearance in here as a major threat to Young Justice, because I think they work really well on multiple levels. One, because these guys they're like the Skrulls. They hide in secret, and they have they're superpowered beings that hide in secret and slowly take over a planet. And it would make it also a very good Miss Martian based story. Like it would be a Miss Martian centered story about her and Martian Manhunter, actually, and their war with the White Martians. And you could actually probably bring in her origin, that she's actually half White Martian, because that in the comics she's a White Martian. So bring it in, probably say like, oh, she's half White Martian, but she really doesn't like being part of their kind. And a war breaks out between the Green Martians and the White Martians on Mars. That would just be this would be a very fun story, because you know, the White Martians can shapeshift and they're very powerful. You can see them shapeshift and take over members of the Justice and impersonate the members of the Justice League or members of Young Justice. And this would be like a whole secret war thing. I think this would be a very cool story, and like I said, a very good Miss Martian story, because the main villains of Martian Manhunter and it would also be a good way to bring in, you know, show more of John Jones's character. Yeah, so I think most definitely put the White Martians in there. If Greg Weisman, I know you're probably not listening to this, but if you can, one season or sometime in one of these episodes, bring in the White Martians. That would make my day. But moving on is a villain I really want in the show. Like from episode 1 from there on, is a very well-known villain. Chris had it in his videos too, and Superboy Prime. Yes, I really want Superboy Prime in here. I would have done it like, Chris had a different way of bringing it in, but how I would have done it is that Cadmus wants to look into finding another Superboy, and instead of cloning him, they decide to look into other universes and bring Prime into this DC universe, and he just goes insane and just starts killing everything. This would be a good Superboy-centered story. This would be a very dark story, because Prime and he really hates Superboy, and it'd be a really cool fight, and just to see Superboy and Prime fight. Connor Kent and Superboy, duke it out in a one-on-one fight. And it'd be cool to see if Superboy would like break the fourth wall and be like, "Oh well," it's like, "Looks like your show's about to get canceled once I kill all of you," or something like that. Like I'd make him like he knows about the TV show and he wants to do changes to it. And everyone would just think he's just totally insane. So, yeah, that'd be cool. That's how I would utilize Prime in this show. But I really want him in here, and I really don't want any changes to him because he looks cool as it is. Actually, I'd really want him in the solar suit, as you can see right here. I really dig his the solar suit, as it's called, as I call it, because it stores solar energy in his body armor, in that body armor he carries, and he uses it for power. So that would be very cool. But that's how I'd use him. I wouldn't use him like a Superboy clone, but more like, they bring him in from another dimension. And he just goes crazy and starts killing everyone. Like, there would be a major death toll if Prime showed up. But, next up on the list is another major DC villain that'd be cool in here. And that's Solomon Grundy. Yes, the guy born on a Monday. Now, how I would use Grundy in here is like how he, there was a point when Grundy was actually smart. Grundy was like a mob boss, and that's how I'd use him. Like, he's a gangster. And he's utilized, that'd be a cool way to bring in other characters like Batgirl, or, he's got a vendetta against the Justice Society, because Grundy was a Justice Society villain, and he is practically dead, so I'd use him like he's going after Justice Society villains, heroes like Alan Scott and other members of the JSA, as like a personal vendetta, now that they're all retired and he's still immortal. And I'd use it like the Young Justice are trying to protect the JSA. And Grundy's just incredible. When he was smart, he was like Hulk is now. He was unstoppable. He was practically almost unstoppable with that mind and all his strength, because he can go toe to toe with Superman. Let's not forget that. So this would be a very cool fight. I'd really like to see, as much as I like to see either dumb Grundy, but actually I really dig smart Grundy in this show. I think it would be more better if Greg Weisman used the smarter Grundy rather than ooh Grundy crush, because we've seen that before. So, it'd just be same old. It'd just be same old hat. It'd just be the old hat again. But yeah, and I'd really like, we saw a smidgen of that in Brave and the Bold of Smart Grundy, but I'd like to see like a full intelligent Grundy. But next up is a traditional Young Justice villain, and that's Harm. Now, for those who don't, who think this is Lobo, it's not Lobo. This is Harm. Harm is actually a real Young Justice villain from the Young Justice comic book series, and he is the brother of Secret, who was also on the Young Justice. Now, bringing in Harm, how Harm got his power is that he killed his sister and turned her into a ghost and used her body and his soul to become a demon-like being. So, he'd be very cool, and it would be a cool way to bring in Secret too, like the team meets Secret and she's being chased by Harm. And he is a very powerful villain. He can easily go toe to toe with anybody on the Young Justice team. And like I said, it'd be a cool way to bring in Secret. I wanted her on my Young Justice recruits. I wanted Secret on there. And he's just a bad guy. Like, his mind is up there with you don't know how evil this guy is. Despite being practically unknown, he is a bastard. But, he's a very powerful villain, Hellfire Blast, but he's a sorcerer at some points. He's also incredibly strong. Like I said, he's a supernatural being, and he'd be an interesting little villain. And like I said, it'd be just a cool way to bring in Secret and put her on the team. Have them fight Harm, and just be a very dark and gritty story. And basically say, yeah, I killed my sister and took her body and my soul and made myself into something more powerful. Because that's all he is. Harm is very power hungry. He's a very power hungry villain. But anyway, enough about this guy. We're gonna move on to another villain. He's very well known. He's getting up there now. And that's the Reverse Flash. I want Reverse Flash would be very cool in here. This would be how I'd make this episode of him showing him in here is make it like a Kid Flash oriented story, like Reverse Flash is tearing up the time stream, or he has a vendetta. He's broken out of prison, or how I would have made it is like Barry sealed him in the Speed Force, but he broke out, and now he's going after all the Flashes, starting with Barry Allen. And have it like a flat. Have the team. Wally wants to fight Reverse Flash one-on-one, but the team wants to help him. And also, it'd be a cool way to bring in like Jay and Barry and show that they're that they can fight too. But yeah, this would be a Kid Flash, very centered story, and just show how crazy and how much Reverse Flash really just hates the Flash family, and just totally bring down everything about him. And also, I'd have a little snippet of Reverse Flash telling him, I've been to the future, and you're the next, and tells Wally that he's the next Flash and that Barry's going to die. But Wally doesn't believe him. Stuff like that. Just make it cool and acknowledge that, yeah, Wally's going to become the Flash. But moving on is to another oriented story, but you could probably make this into a team story too with this villain. And that's Hush. Yeah, Hush would be awesome in this TV series, because not once has Hush been used in an animated series, and I think Greg Weisman could really, make him into a very deadly and dark villain like he is in the comics. I would make it like I could either put it as a Robin-centered story, or make it like a team-oriented story, like Gotham is being torn apart by some new villain that's come to town, and they're investigating with Batman, and then it's revealed that it's Hush. Like, this would be his first... I'd make it like this is his first appearance. Like, kind of like it is in the DC animated series, like in the DC animated universe, because he's never been animated before. He's probably one of, or if not the only, Batman villain that hasn't been in the animated universe. And like I said, Young Justice would be a perfect way to put him in there. I mean, this is a villain who doesn't need to be working for the light. He's just working to kill Batman and anyone who's close to him. I'd also utilize Catwoman in here. I try to put in the Heart of Hush story where Hush takes Catwoman's heart. You know, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, Hush would be perfect in a series like this. Just such an awesome villain, and I really want to see him animated. But next up is Lex Luthor. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that Lex is going to be in the Young Justice series eventually, but I want to see him ASAP. Because this is another good story. This would be a good Superboy story. This would be a good way to show that Lex would find Superboy and confront him and tell him, you're not just made by Superman's genes, you've got some of my DNA inside of you, so technically I'm the closest thing you have to a father. And I think that Lex would just do nothing but totally mentally disturb Superboy in this. And just break him down physically and mentally. And I really want him in the power armor. This would be also a good way for a good Superman story, like Superman and Superboy have to team up to take on Lex, and have it this would be a good way for Superman to accept Superboy, realizing that he also has the aspect of good and the aspect of evil inside of him, or it would be good, or it could be a way to push Superman away further from Superboy. So having Lex, like I said, there's no doubt that Lex Luthor is going to be in this series, but it's just a question of if and when he's going to be in here. Either this season or next season, or hell, he could be part of the whole group, the Light. He might be in charge of it. But moving on to the final villain, and that's the Joker. Yes, Joker's another villain there's a good possible chance he's going to be in here. Just another good Robin story. This would be definitely a Robin-centered story. Like, Joker has fear gas, like venom gas, laughing gas all over a city, and and Batman doesn't want Robin on this mission because it's the Joker. He knows, and then Joker would just totally upset Robin. Stuff like that. It'd be a good Batman and Robin story along with the team of having the Joker in there. And I think Greg Weisman would also make him as dark as the Bruce Timm Joker. Bruce Timm and Paul Dini Joker from the Batman animated series. And of course, I'd like either John DiMaggio or Mark Hamill doing the voice of the Joker in here. So, that's my list of villains. If you want to do a response, do it to Mount Vernon Kids video like this. Because I didn't think of this. He did, so... hope you guys have enjoyed this list, and yeah, these are all the villains I want to see in the Rogues Gallery. You guys tell me yours.